Hi guys, this is BAWLER and this is news for you. Please subscribe to my channel, it is very important. In the early morning of June 13th, explosions rocked Tehran as Israel launched its preemptive military campaign against Iran, named Operation Rising Lion. Within 24 hours, Israel targeted numerous Iranian cities including Karaj, Isfahan, Tabriz, Hamadan, and Piranshaah, with perhaps the most critical strike aimed at the Natanz nuclear facility. Israel's objective was unmistakable: to dismantle Iran's nuclear capabilities. However, this offensive marked only the start of a broader and far more volatile conflict. As both nations deliberate their next moves, the possibility of US involvement casts a long shadow over the deepening Middle East crisis. Operation Rising Lion dealt a powerful blow to Iran's internal power structures. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, reported that Israel deployed around 200 fighter jets, predominantly F-35s, equipped with long-range precision munitions, striking approximately 100 nuclear and military installations. No target was spared. Although Israel prioritized nuclear infrastructure, it also conducted precision strikes inside urban centers to eliminate key military and nuclear figures. According to the Jerusalem Post, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, confirmed the deaths of 9 senior Iranian scientists and nuclear experts, 2 of whom were allegedly advancing Iran's nuclear weapons program. The assault also eliminated several senior military officials serving under Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Iran was left stunned. In a single day, Israel attempted to incapacitate its leadership and degrade critical military capabilities. CSIS noted the involvement of drones in saturating Iran's air defense systems, which had already been compromised by Mossad using decoys. This tactic further weakened Iran's ability to respond to the strikes. CEPA, Center for European Policy Analysis, emphasized that the initial phase of the operation involved Mossad operatives conducting covert eliminations of high-value targets using drones and anti-tank weapons, paving the way for aerial bombardments and exposing the limitations of Iran's Russian-supplied air defenses. Iran retaliated swiftly. In an attempt to project strength and deter further Israeli aggression, Iran launched waves of loitering munitions and ballistic missiles. The initial response involved deploying 100 slow drones into Israeli airspace, most of which were neutralized by Israel's air defenses. Though a knee-jerk reaction, it was followed by deadlier strikes. On June 15th, Iran launched a series of missile attacks hitting northern and central Israel, reportedly killing 4 people near Haifa. Then, on June 18th, the Jewish News Syndicate reported 2 additional missile barrages from Iran, one at 12:40 a.m. and another 40 minutes later, firing 25 ballistic missiles in total. Though most were intercepted, one struck central Israel, igniting a fire in a parking lot. By that day, the Middle East Monitor reported that Israeli strikes had resulted in 585 Iranian deaths and 1,300 injuries. In contrast, Iran's retaliations had killed 24 Israelis and wounded several hundred more. This is far beyond a tit-for-tat exchange. It is open warfare between Israel and Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told citizens to brace for a long conflict, as noted by the Caspian Report. Notably, Netanyahu launched Operation Rising Lion shortly after surviving 2 close confidence votes in the Israeli parliament, signaling a political as well as military calculus behind the operation, according to Al Jazeera. Meanwhile, the United States' role remains uncertain. Although Secretary of State Marco Rubio swiftly denied American involvement in the strikes, he warned Iran against targeting US personnel or interests, a statement perceived as both a denial and a veiled threat. Since then, Washington's position has become more ambiguous. During a June 18th event, President Donald Trump further muddied the waters by refusing to confirm or deny possible US intervention, stating Iran is in serious trouble and wants to negotiate. The White House maintains that Trump is steadfast in his view that Iran must never obtain nuclear weapons. Leading up to the strikes, the US and Iran had been in talks over Iran's nuclear program. Now, those negotiations are in limbo. While the US may publicly distance itself, Israel's goals seem aligned with America's long-standing stance against Iranian nuclear capability. Israel may seek US assistance to destroy hard-to-reach targets, such as the Fordow enrichment facility, buried deep within a mountain. Destroying Fordow would require the use of American B-2 stealth bombers and 30,000-pound GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, technology Israel currently lacks. The BBC reported that Israel successfully destroyed the Natanz centrifuges enriching uranium to 60%, just 30% shy of weapons-grade level. Yet Fordow remains beyond Israel's reach without US help, Only multiple GBU-57s dropped consecutively could penetrate deep enough to inflict permanent damage. Once again, the issue of US involvement arises. While Israel's stated mission is to neutralize Iran's nuclear threat, some analysts believe the real goal may be regime change. The operation began just hours after the IAEA declared Iran in violation of non-proliferation standards for the first time in 20 years. Netanyahu, in a Fox News interview, described Iran's government as fragile and suggested that 80% of Iranians would support overthrowing it. This hints at a broader objective: to topple Iran's leadership either directly through strikes or indirectly by sparking internal revolt. Supporting this theory is the symbolism behind the name Rising Lion, which alludes to Iran's pre-revolution Shah-era flag, a possible appeal to Iranian citizens to reclaim their past. However, sustained bombardment may hinder such an uprising. Israel might pivot to psychological warfare, hoping to inspire internal dissent. But even if regime change is the goal, Israel's military resources are finite. It cannot maintain this pace indefinitely. Iran may be pursuing a similar objective. Caspian reports suggest Iran's leadership aims to oust Netanyahu, whose political position is precarious. Lacking diplomatic options, Iran may seek to weaken Netanyahu's standing by prolonging the conflict and fueling domestic discontent in Israel. Iran's missile strategy may be designed to exhaust Israeli air defenses, including the Iron Dome, David Sling, and Arrow systems, by sheer volume. If Israel's interceptors are depleted, Iran's drones and missiles could inflict serious damage. Iran reportedly produces 20 long-range Shahed drones daily, maintaining a large arsenal unless its production infrastructure is compromised. The goal isn't immediate destruction, but to gradually exhaust Israel's defenses. Iran also possesses 2,000 to 3,000 missiles, according to Western intelligence, and not all of them are short-range. Should Israel's air shield fail, residential areas could be hit next. This pressure could destabilize Netanyahu's leadership. Meanwhile, Iran's traditional proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, may not be reliable. Hamas has been severely weakened since its 2023 war with Israel. Hezbollah is also degraded. The Houthis too have suffered from extensive US airstrikes launched in early 2025, resulting in over 200 civilian casualties and crippling their infrastructure. Iran can no longer count on these groups to pressure Israel effectively. Iran could escalate by striking oil infrastructure in Saudi Arabia or attacking nearby US bases. But such moves risk broader war. The US remains ambiguous about its role, but provocations could trigger a direct response. Iran wants to avoid that, knowing that American intervention could overwhelm it. The last and perhaps most dangerous option for Iran is to do the unthinkable: create and test a nuclear weapon. Before the strikes, Iran reportedly had enough 60% enriched uranium to produce up to 8 warheads within weeks. Whether it still does is unclear. If Operation Rising Lion pushed Iran over the edge, the risk of a nuclear escalation becomes real. Still, Israel may have a surprise of its own. It's preparing to deploy a revolutionary laser-based air defense system which could shift the balance once again. To learn more about this new technology, stay tuned and subscribe to BAWLER for updates on the evolving conflict.